Hello to all my survivors of the wastelands and all my ghouls and super mutants that might be out there. This is Dragonesque 4 coming at you with another how to make tutorial. And today I'm going to be covering how to make the recharger rifle from Fallout New Vegas. And here's what it looks like from the base right here. And going up right here all the way to the end. And yes, it does light up. And how I made this. Okay. Now, this body, which goes to from here to right about here, is made using a Nerf Strike Force convertible rifle. It's a Nerf gun that you could change the parts around, so you could have the stock back on this end, or you could put it on the front so it's more like a handheld rifle, and the front end comes off of it, so you could have like a short end pistol or a long end pistol on the Nerf gun. What I did is I had to severely modify this a bit. I had to take off this part because normally the butt stock part here faces this way on this particular gun. Even though it's exchangeable, you can't put it in downward. So I had to take that part off with some screws. Just has screws, and I unscrewed it. I took that off, and then I glued this in place here so it faces the right direction. I had to cut out a good portion out of this section here in order to fit a battery pack in here, because there's like a bridge work that this gun has, like a real futuristic bridge work on the insides of it that I had to remove with a rotary tool in order to be able to fit a battery pack into this. The battery pack is right up under this piece of craft foam here. I colored the craft foam and I put markings on it to make it look like it's worn out, and I use a secondary color to give it that curved shape that it has. Over here, what I did is I glued dowel rods to the side of the gun so I could still have this gun function as a functional Nerf and still be able to use the Nerf gun and have it look like the recharger rifles. So I had to make a few adjustments on the recharger rifle in the game. These parts, these glowing tubes, are more up up a little bit more, so they're more up here than down here. But if I did that, I wouldn't have been able to still maintain the functionality of this piece here, so I could still use it. So what I did is I took a square post dowel rod, glued that onto the bottom, and I glued two round dowel rods on top of that, in between that, so I could brace this on the side. I used a PVC pipe, cut it in half, and then I trimmed it down in order to get to the level where I could clear this barrel so I could still use it and open this and drop the Nerf piece in there. I glued that onto the dowel rods, and I painted the dowel rods black on both sides so you don't really notice the dowel rods. I glued it using hot melt glue. You could use super glue. And then what I did is I ran the battery pack from under here, and I ran it through here, through this handle. You can see a little bit of the wire still sticking out from where I came through the thing here. Ran it in here, and I used light up LED light system through these clear plastic plumbing tubes that I used. I glued those in place, and in order to glue them, because they didn't want to hold, I had to run a cord through them. So I punctured them with I drilled through them, ran a cord into it to keep the shape, and then I fed the LEDs through it, and I ran it so it goes through from the bottom to the top, and then from the top to the bottom, bottom to the top, top to the bottom, and then it crosses over under here onto the other side to complete it. I couldn't figure out how to make it so I could have it where I could pull the trigger. And like in the game, when you pull the trigger, usually these stay lit up, and when you pull the trigger, the lights go to the front tubes, and then that temporarily goes down, but I couldn't figure out how to do that, so I just left it like that. These side tubes are just little plastic tubes that I used that I glued in place from. They usually contain glitter from your craft store. In order to get this rounded shape that they have on the gun itself, I took a piece of plastic from a tea bottle and cut it down, and then I kind of glued it in place, and I taped over it so it would keep its shape too. On the bottom, I used bottom and sides. I used 3 layers of craft foam, with the green look it has, and then it has like a whitish trim kind of look. So I used white craft foam on top of that. I inked over it to give it the worn out look, and around the tubes, I used under the tubes, I used the black craft foam. And now the gun itself only goes to about here, so I had to modify it again using some dowel rods here so I could place this plumbing piece over this. Now this is a plumbing PVC, which I painted in a couple different colors with the gunmetal gray and some black accenting to make it look worn out. I used a piece of craft foam cut into strips to give it that finned look like it has, and I just glued that in place here and here. This here is an extension. This extension part is another piece of PVC that just happens to fit inside this piece of PVC, so I glued that in place. And then there's another piece here another piece of PVC here that I glued onto the end to give it a nice shape. These pieces right here, which this and this don't usually have this on here. What that is, they are little yogurt cup lids, and I just drilled them out, cut them out. You could drill it or cut it to fit the barrel, around this, and I just fitted it over there and glued those in place. And I have a trigger here under the bottom, so you could turn the lights on or off for when you're cosplaying. And again, it will fire a Nerf gun pellet. If you drop one in, cock it back up, and then I left the other trigger behind the other one so you can fire the pellet. And that is how you make the recharger rifle from Fallout. If you want to attempt to make it, please send me a link. If you ever put it on the video, send me a link. I would love to see how you make your version. That's how I made mine. Thank you, and stay tuned for more videos.